Salutations, mortals, and welcome to From the Jump. Today we have a very special guest who is somewhere in the world. We don't know exactly where she is. She might be in Bahrain, she might be in Morocco. Nobody really knows where she is. Today we have the lovely Nicolene with us. You are such a stunning voice. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you so much. You're scoring brownie points, eh? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nicolene, please tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
All right, I'm Nicolene Samuels. I am a creative. I am a professional singer as well. I travel the world from South Africa, born in Namibia, so I'm very proud about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just an all-around creative person, and I'm here to speak to you about all that creative arts. You know?
Awesome.
So
now you've only touched on it a little bit, so I'm gonna go in a bit more detail. When you say you travel the world, it's not like you travel it just as a hobby. You travel the world singing. You actually have residency in some crazy places, from Morocco to Spain to Shanghai to you just everywhere. Can you just let us know a little bit on how you got into traveling the world singing and what was it like taking that first leap for your first one?
As I grew older, I did a lot of office work, but I wasn't happy. I stopped doing that. I took a leap of faith. I went into, the arts and starting my own jewelry business. And then the music started eventually, flowing into my life. And I started recording with people. I started learning. I started growing. And as I grew, the music world just opened up for me. So I eventually befriended a lot of people who were doing the job that I'm doing now. So they introduced me to a Spanish company. And I was like, okay, this is cool, And then funny enough, I was actually like two years prior to that, I was actually supposed to go to Dubai. But, for whatever the reason, the universe just, it's not your time yet.
Yeah.
So eventually I signed to the company, Romantic Corporate, if that's allowed, I don't know.
Oh, no, you can plug anybody you want.
Yeah, shout out to Romantic Corporate. They will ever be they gave me the break. So I joined them. I did 2 shows, Diana Ross and the Supremes. Meeting Diana. Thank you. I just grew from there. And it went from Spain, it went to China, it went to Middle East, Asia.
You've literally traveled the world. You don't just sing. When you're on stage with these residencies, it's a full-on performance. I mean, you're singing, you're dancing, you're doing choreography. So just how much of a change was that? Because as you said, your creative journey started with, you doing jewelry, which is exactly how we actually met.
Yeah.
Back in the day in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And then you also did photography. You had a whole photography page up.
Yes.
Everything was going. And so you've literally gone from creative strength to creative strength to then, singing and then deciding you're going to go full on perform live every night, bring the house down every day.
Yeah.
What made you, take that leap of saying, you know what? I like what I'm doing creatively right now, but I know I can do more. Or was it just a thing of hey, let me just try different things and see where I land?
Well, I've always been a creative, person since I was a young little girl. I would sit, with my little beads, making these little bracelets, in my little corner at home. And we had this big, huge piano in our house. So I would, just play along my own little melodies and create my own little sound,
Yeah.
So it came from there. But then I started the jewelry business because initially, and it still is, my plan is to, work with young ladies and just to, form an income for yourself, as a hobby or something like that, just empowering women, So that is why I actually got into the jewelry business. And I can honestly say that helped me a lot with regards to how I communicate with people.
Okay,
because you have to sell your product,
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to speak to people, how to sell your product, how to sell yourself, so people can believe in you that your product is legit, it's good, they
Exactly.
want it,
Exactly.
And eventually I managed, and luckily I managed to get my jewelry into a store. Shout out to Mark, he was the owner of that store in Claremont. Young Stars Original was the store name. And I can honestly say, if I'm just thinking about it now, I wasn't really equipped mentally, business-wise.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for it, but I managed. But I had a lot to learn,
Yes.
So with the whole people skills, and when I started doing the singing, that's when the people skills really came into play, because I'm working with different nationalities, different habits, personalities, and everything. So you have to adapt to that change, and you have to just kind of take a step back and be like, okay, so why did this person say that? You have to adapt mentally. Usually what I do is, I obviously, who you work with before you leave for a contract. Not everyone is not the same,
Yes.
but they have similar traits, So it's always good to mentally prepare yourself when it comes to that process, because people are different. They have crazy habits, and they won't understand. I mean, I can't speak Afrikaans to them, I can't, which it happens sometimes. It happens. You like, you just say a little word.
More when you're pissed off.
Exactly, but then you just have to quickly snap out of it and be like, okay, this is what you have to do. This is how you solve it, and you just progress from there.
No doubt. Now, Nicolene, when you were, again, traveling the world as a young woman, because you started traveling, I think, when you were, let's not give away ages, but let's say you started traveling when you were 25, 24, or somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken. Now, traveling the world alone, I mean, for the first time when you did it, I'm guessing that first trip you did was alone. Second trip was, you do meet other people that you work with when you're there, but initially when you get there, you're on your own, and the agency hooks you up with people, but you're still alone. Now, how was that feeling of, going from South Africa, being around so many people that you knew, grew up with, that you understand and deal with, to then being, a young woman, all the way on the other side of the world with no family, no real friends there, and then having to make do. How was that experience? Was it more challenging or more exciting for you?
Well, luckily enough, the first contract I worked with 2 South African girls, which was absolutely fine, that was a Spain contract. And then, you obviously you get used to the Spanish culture, and I just fell in love. Like I'm just a sponge, I want to know more,
Exactly.
So that was cool. But then more international market with different people from different countries. And that was pretty scary, because you don't know who you're going to work with. You don't. But I think it was more excitement, but as eventually traveling alone, with everything that's been, in the news, and kidnapping and human trafficking and stuff like that, you obviously get nervous, you don't know who you're going to get on a plane with, and you don't know who's around you. So, I've been lucky and fortunate and blessed to be safe, and
we're so happy
keeping
to
me, and I'm traveling. So,
so happy to hear that.
That's
so how often do you actually get to go back to South Africa? I know you're coming down to Namibia next year. Hopefully, Corona will be over with, and you'll be able to.
I hope so. No, I have to be there. Actually, I have to be there. It's my brother's wedding, so I have to be there.
But so how often do you try and come back to South Africa, or how often are you able to? Do your contracts allow for a return home and then back to the contract, or do you have to finish off the full contract before you can?
Yes, full contract, you have to finish it, which is normally from 3 months to a year and a half. It depends on you, but usually the longest I did was a year and a half. I just stayed there, it was China and Spain. I just stayed there because I was just enjoying it. And so I would say I would say about, oof, I would be at home contract.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be the maximum duration. But last year I actually stayed for 3 months, which was it was quite cool because I wasn't at home for such a long time during December, So I was like getting into that groove of
Que
partying and stuff
December,
at home with
boss.
friends. So that was cool. Like I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, and currently
Yeah.
you're stuck in Bahrain, as
I am,
everybody's
yeah,
stuck
yes.
around the world.
Yeah.
But my question for you is, how different is it being in, I mean, a place like Bahrain and the entertainment industry there compared to, let's say, for China, for instance?
I would honestly say that China's crowd, they are so much more accepting and inviting. They are just fun. Whatever you sing, whatever the choreographies, they would just mimic you, and they would just, even if they don't have the rhythm, they would just go full in. So I would say China's crowd is absolutely amazing, totally amazing. Here in Bahrain, they are very old school.
Mm-hmm.
The Highway to Hell rock stuff.
Okay.
And they have that level of, I want my song, so you're gonna sing it. They're on that.
Got you. A little
Very
bit of entitlement.
demanding. Yeah.
Okay.
So the person would come in and they would sit on their chair, like that is their chair. No one sits there, and everyone knows. They become regulars. And I want that song, so you're gonna play that song. When I enter the club, you will have my vodka and whatever on my table. That type of thing. So it's very different, very, very different.
Okay, and you did say that you're signed to an agency, so it's not a thing of you having to chase up your invoices or anything. I'm taking it that with being with an agency, it's more a thing of you've got your contract, you're paid when you're paid. Was there ever a time that you were performing before you got with this agency where getting your money, even whether it be from your photography jobs or from your jewelry label or from your music, was there talk to us a bit about how you, because I know you and you're a very humble person. You're not very confrontational. You don't like yelling at people and getting all up into arguments. That I've seen at least. Let me put it like that. So how let us know a bit about how you go about getting your coins?
Okay, so after Spain was with a company, and then I worked with a South African agent for about 2 years. That was perfect, fine, paid on time, whatever. And then the Morocco gigs that I did, it was, I think, 2 years ago. I did Morocco for that full year. That was pretty intense when it came to salaries, because they would, not pay you or delay the process of paying you for about 2 weeks, and you obviously get into that place where you're like, what's going on? We're doing our jobs. We are, expecting our payments on time. You are expecting us to be like on stage every night, just doing our thing. So what is going on? Why can't you meet us halfway where we have to work hard for, our money? Yeah. So it has taken me to kind of not be on stage and be like, I'm not working tonight, until you pay us. I'm not working tonight. And eventually the whole band, this actually only happened in Morocco. The whole band just decided, no, we're not going to play until you pay us, Yeah. And it worked, and that was fun. Another instance was me recording and doing backing vocals for live shows for other artists.
Okay.
I waited quite a while, and it was always, we can't pay you this, but we can give you that. I'm like, no, this is what we agreed upon,
Agreed, yeah.
And to whoever is watching, whatever agreement you make verbally, it's a contract. It is a contract. please do just take out a pen and paper, have a witness there next to you, just write it out, let that person sign, you sign the witness signs, so that you can have that protection,
Yeah.
So always protect yourself, man. People are shady.
And that's another thing that brings me to my question on, like, when it comes to collaborations, I'm a person that really loves collaborating. I believe collaboration brings out the best in both parties, and also brings a product that nobody else can. I mean, if me and you collaborate and I collaborate with another like vocalist, it's not going to be the same. Even if it's the exact same song, you guys don't sing the same, energies aren't the same. So what I mean to ask is, through collaborations, do you have a standing agreement like format that you do when you collaborate with people? Or do you have like a lawyer that you normally have look over paperwork? How do you, when it comes to collaborations, I'm not talking about contracts for jobs, I'm just collaboration in general. How do you go about making those for yourself?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to actually have a lot of friends in the industry that I can depend on whenever I need information. So also freelancers doing work for themselves. So I've asked them, how do I go about that? And they would tell me, okay, you do this and that, where in terms of what's gonna happen, how is that person gonna pay you? Is it gonna be hourly? Is it gonna be the whole package after the whole release of the song? Are you gonna get royalties? So it's actually a lot to think about before collaborating with someone, and usually someone would not be happy with your terms, so it's a back and forth all the time until you guys reach that the common goal, because you want to do music, you want that song out there because it's awesome, so it's a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience to work on that little, okay, we're on the same page now.
No, we were definitely on the same page. But like, what I'm saying is, like, what I take from what you just said is, it takes a lot of actual self-investment, and also looking at your relationships within the industry that you are, and looking at people and just saying, how would you go about this? And actually asking the questions, not just sitting by and being like, oh, okay, somebody's going to come help me. It's about doing it for yourself. And I'm in total agreement with that. I mean, you are testament of going out there and deciding, I'm going to do this, and then doing. I mean, that's why we're here on From the Jump.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a little question for you. This is, okay, I'm just going to go into the interview questions that we were supposed to actually have at least had one so far. These were all off the cuff ones. Okay, let me give you the most important question of this interview process, all right? This is the most important question for From the Jump. So
I don't have money for you.
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We're gonna figure that out. We'll rob a bank or something.
Later.
So the most important question is, and you gotta take it seriously, all right?
Okay.
Superheroes or supervillains? Which one do you choose? You can only choose one side. And anti-heroes like Deadpool, they're also supervillains. So which side do you choose?
Okay. Wow. Superheroes, I mean, they do good, but then the villains, they do good for themselves. So I don't know. That's a difficult question, because you put the heroes are for the people, the villains are for themselves, and you have to be both.
Okay.
You have to be both. So
well, if you're not against supervillains, you're automatically in that category.
But I'm not against the heroes as well. Oh my gosh.
All right. So basically, you're a bit on the fence with both, because you identify with both. You identify with being a bit selfish from the villains.
As much as you want to be for all the people, you have to think about yourself as well. That is just a life lesson that I've learned. You have to think about yourself. So
there we go. For all the younger people out there that are trying to, do the come up, remember, you got to pay attention to yourself too. By being in Bahrain, you clearly cannot go out and actually go perform, since everything's on lockdown, I'm guessing, right? So
Yeah.
Is your contract still being what's the word I'm looking for? Is your contract still being upheld in the terms of how they're going to do your payments and stuff when you're actually not able to be on stage? How has your industry or your, just specifically your agency, worked with you guys in trying to find a middle ground on that?
Well, I got to Bahrain in the end of January. I actually worked just for a month and a half before they went into lockdown here. And then after, we got all our salaries, but we're not getting paid right now, obviously. So since the middle of March, we are not getting paid anything. But our manager is, paying for accommodation. He is helping with regards to food, so we are very really grateful for that, because if it wasn't that type of person, we would have been stranded somewhere,
Yeah, totally. And you can't leave. There's nothing you can do.
You can't do anything, so luckily, and also wherever I go to, whatever country I go to rather, I always search for South Africans in China, South Africans in Bahrain, those groups online. And I have posted a lot in the South Africans in Bahrain groups, and they are very, warm and welcoming, and they understand, people are stranded, so they would help their people.
Oh, that's brilliant. So Nicolene, my next question for you is, seeing as you're now in Bahrain and you've been to Morocco, you've been to, China, you've been to Spain, you've been to so many, I don't even know half the places you've been to. First question, which was your favorite out of all of them? Which was your favorite one to really to be like, man, that one, that contract, that was it?
Spain is always going to be that contract for me, but close to that would be Thailand. I enjoyed Thailand. Oh my gosh. Especially the shopping, because it was so cheap there,
Yeah,
so
everybody says that about
I enjoy Thailand, really.
And then my second question for you is,
favorite.
what's your, where are you looking to go next? After this contract's done, because this is not going to last forever, the COVID-19 thing. So after this is done, where are you looking to go next? Or is it more a thing of, you just get your agency calls you up and says, okay, we got these different placements, choose one? Or do you actually have a goal beforehand?
Well, currently I'm actually planning to stay here for a little while longer, because work might be opening up, and I was, lucky enough to be asked if I was interested in the gig here.
Nice.
So I'm working toward that and hopefully just praying, that everything will work out, but should that happen, I would be here for a little while. I think I would, just park here for a little while, or for 6 months or something like that.
Okay.
But after, I would love to just go on holiday, because I haven't had a vacation. I've not had a proper vacation, where I'm like, okay, everyone else gone out of my mind. I'm gonna enjoy myself this 2 weeks in this place, so that type of thing. So hopefully.
Which is very weird. You see, the thing is, because you work so intensively. Literally, in some places you work every single night. So and that includes weekends. It's not like it's just a Monday to Friday thing. It's like,
No.
So how do you stop yourself from burning out? How do you make sure you don't burn out mentally, physically, pressure-wise, everything? Because you're always going.
Yeah, that's a good question. Me personally, I've gotten so used to traveling, and it's because I love traveling, love meeting new cultures, and I'm always excited about that. But obviously, sometime during the contract, your mind just goes poof, and so that's when my photography kicks in. That keeps me sane. So when I have my off days, I don't want anything to do with music. I would go, take my camera and just walk around, or plan a photo shoot with someone, a DJ, or one of our friends or the band members.
Yeah.
And yeah, so ever since while being here now, I don't have my camera here, so I've been doing smartphone photography. That is a thing, by the way.
Word.
So I've been doing that, getting creative with my DIY backdrops and that type of thing. So yeah, you have to find something, man.
And that brings me to my next question. I like the way that you help bring me to my next questions. It's like I just gotta wait, and then you're like, "Here we go, next one."
Man.
So your DIY projects, like, firstly, because you actually let people see the process that you go through, it's freaking amazing. Like, how the fuck did you come up with that shit? Like, when did you decide I'm gonna start creating my own backdrops in the most random places? Like, I don't even need a studio. I'll create this shit in my bedroom, in the corner. Like, can you talk to us how that creative aspect came out? Because of course you already did photography. I mean, you were trained in photography, but when did you decide, you know what? Let me show these people how it's done.
Wow. I think it was about 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I was on Pinterest actually, and then I was just scrolling, through pictures because I just absolutely love Pinterest. And then I saw this hashtag DIY photo shoot, and I was like, okay, what is this? So I checked it out, and I was like, wow, this is awesome, But like you said, I show the process, I show the process of how it happens and what I do, I never saw that on Pinterest. It was only the final product. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should take this up, So I did that. And then this girl popped up on Instagram from America. Well, her profile in the suggestions,
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Kimberly, I think her name is, and she does exactly the same thing. She was rejected by modeling agencies. And the whole arts world rejected her, wherever she applied for. And then she decided, you know what, I'm gonna do this on my own. So she created her own photo shoots in her guest room, and I didn't even know about her before I started. I was like, wow, this is so cool, and the universe always aligns.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what I really find amazing is the fact that when you start feeling pressure in one creative aspect of your life, you can escape to another creative aspect. It's not like you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to sleep.
That's true. That's so true. I've always, when I speak to people that are in the arts, that are just coming up, the arts and entertainment industry, I'm like, please, whatever you do, just don't go sleep. Because it's so easy to just click into or go into that mindset of like, you know what, I'm not in the mood, I'm not going to do this, I don't want, just go sleep the day away. Please don't do that. It's not healthy, especially being in the arts industry. Like, you have to be versatile. Try to get yourself out there. Yes, you're gonna have your off days. Just take your off days. Like, you have to feel through everything. A friend of mine, actually, I asked him, and he's also in the arts industry, entertainment industry, and he said, I asked him, where does your energy come from? Like, you're always doing something every single day. And he's like, and I asked him as well, like, mentally, how do you just stay there? And he's like, I never allow myself to get tired mentally. Never. That is on me. That's not on anyone else. And I will never, ever allow myself. My body might be feeling tired. My body might be feeling tired. And obviously I would listen to my body, and that has always been stuck, in my mind. So whenever I do feel I'm slipping, I do something that, that will totally just wake me up.
Wake it up. Yeah.
Just keep it there, man.
That's actually quite cool. That's you know what? I might have to adopt that mindset, because sometimes I just go for walks. I go for walks. I'm like, I gotta clear my mind. I need to be away.
Whatever it is.
And that's another aspect. You know what? This is a new question. Here we go. So in saying that, would you then say that sometimes creatives need to take themselves away from the creative place that they are?
Oh yeah.
Just to rejuvenate themselves, but not for a long period of time. So you would say that is a very important thing, to be able to just step back from your creation and be like, hold on, let me just do something that doesn't have to do with this specific thing. Not saying switch off is what you're saying. Don't totally switch off your mind and go to sleep and be depressed, but go find something else to put that energy into. That's amazing.
Oh yes, definitely. I've found a lot of YouTube videos and channels where I listen to a lot of motivational talks and just mantras, and I'm very into that as well. And I love cooking and writing. I'm currently writing like a book, short story book.
You're doing the short stories, that's right.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about that. But cooking is something that I can just escape from everything else that I would normally do. So that is my break.
Plus food is love. Food is love. It's a love language.
Always.
That's actually what it says on my top. It says food is heaven. It's a love language. Food is a love language,
It is,
and we all have to show love to ourselves also, and that's why I eat a shitload.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. So Nicolene, we've done it again. We've gone over the limit of so these interviews are supposed to be 20 minutes, and none of them that I've done this for are 20 minutes. They all keep going over because there's so much fun and there's so much information in them. And what I would like to just bring to people's attention, or have you bring to people's attention through the next question, this will actually be my last question.
Okay.
Through your entire creative journey, which, as we now have learned, has been very varied and vast, like you've done a lot. What was there one opportunity you decided not to take that, looking back, you like, damn it, I should have fucking taken that opportunity?
I have no regrets.
Hey, there we go. None. There we go. All right.
None.
All right. So it's not a thing of Sorry, go on. No, go on. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, continue.
No. This is your interview. You get to speak as much and whenever you want to.
No, I have no regrets. If something doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You move on. I've lost a lot of contracts that I was really into. I did feel, I allow myself to feel sad or whatever for a day about it, and then I just move on. But I have no regrets at all. I don't have.
That's
I don't think that. Everything is a learning curve. If it doesn't work out, that it's meant for a reason. So.
But is there anything that you would, if you had the opportunity to give somebody some advice, a younger you, an up and coming person that's trying to get into the industries, not only one industry, but in the multitude of industries that you are, because you're an entrepreneur, you're a traveling artist. You literally feed yourself and travel the world off of your art form. Yeah. So if there's some advice you could impart to somebody, just one piece of advice, what would it be?
The world is ever changing, and people, if you just invest in yourself, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. If people blow you off, then go to the next group or go to the next person. Invest in yourself. Like you said earlier, you have to invest in. There's YouTube. That's like the most free university that
But you just said something that sparked another question in me.
Okay.
I was almost there. We were talking about the
old age.
No, not the. You got jokes. I'm not that much older than you. You playing around. Man, what was was such an important?
Was it the samurai one?
There we go. That was it, right?
Okay.
So, right, the importance of artists actually registering themselves on things like Samro and doing it properly. We're registered as Black Walkernet on Samro, but I've realized that through the process of being individual artists trying to get on and everything, there's so much information on you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do
Yep.
So was there somebody that helped guide you through your process of registering, or was it
yes. No, definitely. I did not know anything about Samro, and I could not even know most of the things still, because there's so much that you need to know. So there's this one person that I used to just inbox and be like, hey, what is this about? also friends of mine that are obviously that are on a much higher level than me. I asked them about, that the Samuel details and everything else, what I don't understand,
Yeah.
So yeah, just ask. Easy.
But,
But yeah.
that actually brings me to my real last question. I'm sorry, but you see, this is exactly how these interviews go.
It's all good.
When was the last time you performed for alcohol? Because like I've performed for alcohol. We all performed for alcohol back in the day. Talking about getting exploited. When was the last time you performed for booze?
Wow. There was this one gig that I did. It was many years ago. I think I was like 19 or 18. And then this person was like, okay, we can't pay you, but we have like drinks on tap, you can do your thing. I was like, okay. Who am I to say no to what was the drink Savannah that time, I loved Savannah that time. I was into it. It was red. And I was like, okay, I got my table over there, it's open, whatever else I want. I go to the bar, get my shots or whatever, but yeah, no more.
No, it was definitely a pleasure. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of From the Jump. That was Nicolene Samuels, all the way from Bahrain. Thank you for coming through, Miss Lady, and have a blessed day.
Thank you so much.
As I search for the white dove, I wonder if she searches for me. Or if my hopes of finding her are nothing more than an ill-conceived fantasy. You see,